Hey guys, if you're like me, you're not going out to the grocery store quite as much these days. So I thought we'd take some time to talk about when you do get out to the grocery store, what are the vegetables you might want to prioritize? And then what can you do to extend the life of those vegetables a little bit longer so that you're not going to the store quite so frequently? So I went through and I started thinking about the veggies that I buy, and I made a list of those, and I can put those on my website. But I started with the things that have the shortest lifespan once you get them home from the grocery store. Things like spinaches or lettuces, romaine lettuce. Those are things that generally I have to use up within the first week, 4 to 5 days of bringing them home from the store. And as you'll see, I haven't been to the store in over a week, so I don't have any lettuces here with me. Things like mushrooms and cucumber also don't last that long at my house. I do love to get them. Mushrooms are fantastic to throw into stir fries, and cucumber, I like to put those in cold salads because the crunch is really nice. And there is a recipe in, I think, either Crazy Busy Keto or in Keto Living Day by Day, I think it's Keto Living, that has like cucumber pickles that David loves. I also have been doing maybe just one vegetable around kind of at dinner instead of doing more, because again, the fresh vegetables are the things that I can't get out to get quite as often. Things that have a little bit longer life are things like zucchini and celery. I've had these for a week now. They're starting to show some age. I'm going to have to do something with them, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Love fresh celery, and honestly, I probably should have had this in some water, but it's still really nice and crisp. The celery is great for soups. It's good also for stir fries. It's also good in cold salads. So if you're using up canned salmon or canned tuna, canned chicken, you can chop that up, and I love the crunch that it goes to like a cold salad like that. Tomatoes, I've been buying, because David doesn't generally eat them, Grace and I do, but I've been buying the baby tomatoes. I've had these for over a week now, and we love them. We just slice up a few at a time because they are about 1 carb each, and I'll put them sometimes with a little scrambled egg just for burst of flavor. There's one that needs to come out that started to age on me, but we use just a few at a time. I put some maybe with a little fresh mozzarella when I have it, and some basil, and I'll talk about the basil in a minute too. But I just love them for a little pop of color. You can also throw them into stir fries, but you can see in a week we haven't eaten a ton of them, but just a little bit at every meal. It's nice. Cauliflower has a long shelf life too. I've had this again probably 2 weeks, this guy, and I chose a really big head of cauliflower so that I can make more than one meal with this. If I chop this in half, I can make some cauli mash. It's one of my family's favorites. I can do the cauli mac and cheese. Now, I'm not doing the huge servings, but as long as I can get enough for 4 or 5 servings for my family, they're quite happy. So the this would make a tri-spake cauliflower. This would make cauli mash. It would make Grace really happy, and it would make David really happy. And cauli mash actually does freeze pretty well. I've gotten some experience with freezing things because of Grace being away at school and freezing foods for her. I also could use some of this in a soup. Again, a stir fry, lots of things to do with cauli. And it has a nice longevity. Like I said, this has been maybe close to 2 weeks in my fridge. The broccoli has been a week, and it's starting to get a little bit of age. It's still somewhat fresh. I will probably do some with boiled with a cheese sauce, because Jonathan tends that if he's going to eat it, he'll eat it boiled. There's a great recipe on Diet Doctor where you butter fry it, and you really just put it in the pan until it looks a bit burnt. It's fantastic if you want to try that. There's so many things you can do. Broccoli salad. David would be thrilled if I'd make broccoli salad for him. He's giving me a thumbs up. And that just requires some onion. And onion has a great long shelf life. Some chopped up bacon, and some mayonnaise, and what else? Oh, bacon, which we have. We have the big bags of pre-cooked chopped bacon that I use all the time. Now, radishes, I'm not gonna lie, I think this may have been in my fridge since January at some point. They're starting to get a little icky, but I think I can trim these radishes up, and I can make a radish hash. The recipe's in Low Carb Journey. I can throw it in a soup. Cold salad, it would be really nice chopped up and put in chicken salad or salmon salad, and I may do a little bit of all of that. With the radish hash, use a little onion with it too. Cabbage is another thing. Now, this isn't a very large head, and I've discovered that my fridge has a cold spot, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. But last week or 2 weeks ago, I had a cabbage, and I actually made 4 meals from it. Because remember, the vegetable is just a side item, and that's where you get your primary source of carbs. So it was a larger head of cabbage than this, but I chopped it in half. I used part of it, maybe a little more than a quarter, close to a third, to make some crack slaw. I made crack slaw with that. I used another part of it to make just a little bit of coleslaw to have with burgers that David had grilled. And I used another part to fry with bacon and make some bacon fried cabbage, which is a favorite here. And then the fourth one, I had some jalapeno smoked sausages that I had bought, and I chopped up some of the cabbage to serve with those sausages because that's a David favorite. So again, cabbage, pretty forgiving, a lot that you can do with it. Also, you can make faux cabbage noodles. That recipe is in Keto Living Day by Day. And then spaghetti squash. I probably got this 3 weeks ago. These things, again, have a really nice shelf life. I'm going to try to use it up this week. Probably toward the end of the week. I'm not going to go to the grocery store for probably another 6 to 7 days if I can help it. But with this one, I'll probably roast it. I've got directions for that in Crazy Busy Keto, but I'll probably do it in the microwave. And what I do is just stab it several times and then cook it 6 to 7 minutes until it's done. This one's kind of small. And then I'll probably scoop it out. I may do the chicken Alfredo because Grace likes that. There's also a fantastic recipe that you can add some cheeses and bake it and do it as a bake. But anyway, I will plan to get at least 2 meals because again, it's a little bit higher carb. And I love to put onion and other flavors with it, but I'll probably try to get 2 different meals. And when I do it as different meals, the family doesn't feel like, oh, I'm eating cabbage again, or I'm eating spaghetti squash again, because I'm doing different things with it. If you're trying to think about how to make several meals, like I said, the cauliflower, you can do cauli rice with it, and that freezes if you have leftovers. If you are trying to think about how to cook it and freeze it, like the zucchini, if we can't eat this today or tomorrow, I'm probably going to have to do something else with it. I can saute it. My family loves it when I chop an onion and then saute it and maybe some ghee or some bacon fat. That's really great. And then if they don't want to eat it right away, or if I have other things planned, I can put it in the freezer. And when it comes out of the freezer, it's fantastic. You can also make stir fries if you have some veggies that you need to use up. So if I was going to do my stir fry, I'd probably throw some of these peppers. These bell peppers are starting to see, they're not looking very healthy right now. But I'm probably going to go through, I'll salvage what I can from the peppers. I'll salvage what I can from the radishes. And I could do a really nice stir fry with pepper and onion and the radishes and some of the zucchini. My family would love that. The other thing that you can do with it besides stir fries is soup. And so the chicken noodle soup is something that I could make using up some of the celery and the onion and the zucchini as well. And that's a Jonathan favorite. Frittatas are a great way to use up vegetables. So I could throw some of these things in there. The frittata, when I make them, are crustless. I just threw them in a 9x13 casserole. And then when they're done, I slice them and put them in the fridge. It's also a great way to use up meats, like leftover meats. This week, David and I have been doing a lot of that. We had one steak that was left that I chopped up and made like an egg scramble with it that was really good. We had some leftover meat from fajitas that we had, and I put that into a cheese crusted omelet, which if you haven't tried cheese crusted omelet, look for Jill's cheese crusted omelet at Diet Doctor. You will never make another type of omelet. So good. You can also, if you have tomatoes that are going bad, make a tomato sauce that freezes really, really well. Anything that doesn't have cream cheese tends to freeze really well. And I think I mentioned the Mexican rice dish in Crazy Busy Keto, that would work well. Also avocado. I've been buying avocado. They're a little greener than usual. I'm putting them in the fridge, and you just want to give them a little kind of a hug to see if they're done, if they're ripe or not. But this will be a good thing that Grace will enjoy. Maybe a cold salad at the early part of the week. I think it'll be fine. So that's kind of what we're doing. The other thing I'm doing, I love green onions. Now, Spanish onions are fine, but I really love the flavor of green onions. So what I've been doing is I use some of them. I chop them up to use them for cooking, but I've been putting them in this glass with water. And you can see they're getting roots, which are kind of nice. And so what I've been doing, instead of chopping a whole one, I'll come through, and it's time to chop this guy. I hadn't realized how tall he had gotten. But what I'm doing when I'm scrambling eggs or different kinds of meals, I'll cut the tops off, and you can see where I've cut this one recently. I've cut this one and this one, but cut the top and then cut the tops, and then I just use my kitchen scissors to cut it over the dish. This is so good in eggs. It just really gives eggs this nice kind of light oniony flavor. I love them for spring. These are great in deviled eggs. I love to put fresh chopped green onion on deviled eggs as well. So anyway, and it'll keep growing. So if I chop this off, I'll have quite a bit to use. It's really good in salads too. If you're making a salad salad. If you're doing a stir fry, toss it in toward the end of your stir fry because we're just using the green part. Like I said, you can use the whole thing. I haven't chopped them down too far, but I love that I've had these now. This is going on a month. It's been close to a month that I've just been clipping the tops and using the onions and not having to buy fresh onion. The other thing that I've done, I really have enjoyed my fresh herbs. And so David had gotten me, I talked about this when we did one of our Sunday with the Sullivans on Facebook, but he got me a plant, a fresh basil plant for like $4.50 or so at the grocery store. And so since that time, we've taken that basil plant, we've been clipping it, I've been using it in the kitchen. But we've separated the plants and they're outside, and I'll do a video later to show you guys what we're doing with our garden. But I actually had cut this and I'd cut more than I needed. So I put the ends in water and you can see how they're rooting. So I think I'm actually going to plant these, but I had been pulling off of them for salads and things. I'll just go grab a couple leaves and pinch off to put with, like if I'm chopping up some tomatoes with my eggs, I'll pull some of the basil plant, and I've just kept it by a sunny window. But I'm so excited. Look at all the roots on this guy. I'm so excited to put these in the dirt and see them create plants. And remember, basil is one of those plants that often the more you clip it, the more it produces. And so I love that about basil. I've also got some cilantro out there and some oregano and thyme, and I'll be telling you more about that stuff when we share kind of what we're putting in the garden and why we're doing that. So look for that here on the YouTube channel. So that's what I'm doing with vegetables and how I'm trying to stretch them and keep some vegetables in our meals as we try to avoid the grocery store shopping for a week or two at a time. I hope that you and your family are staying safe and that some of these tips will be helpful to you.